about the money, it's the principle. Gotta watch who you revere, who you listen to. I speak the Eastern soul, my flow medicinal. And I buried the old man, now I'm invincible. Gotta be wise in judgment, it's critical. Either couple with this brotherhood or you'll get ridiculed. The greatest man, the greatest servant, I kill for who I minister to. And I'm going war, nigga, win or lose. Hey, I was forged from the fire, torn from the liar. If hand join in hand, you'll get caught up in the crossfire. Become a casualty of chance. I'm in my stance, still in hand, ready to swing it like a lance. If the enemy advance, I'ma enhance. Had the benefit of the doubt, he never had a chance. Hey, this the shit that they beg for, that burn down the wicked Judge Dredd flow. Bitch, I am the law. Dog faced it, prepared for war.
I'm gon' war till the day I'm done. Number one till the day I'm done. I'ma grind till the day is done. I'ma war till the day I'm done. They can't stop me. Nothing new up under the sun. I'm gon' war till the day I'm done. Number one till the day I'm done. I'ma grind till the day is done. I'ma war till the day I'm done. They can't stop me. Nothing new up under the sun.
I see why they say never envy a carnal man. Claim they real, they actions don't match what they saying. I got the upper hand, what you don't understand, youngin'. I'd rather bleed than concede, now they're saying something. These niggas cunning, they want my power, they never take it from me. Hey, for that money, I heard you insisted. They can't go out like that, they'll have to 86 me.
Shalom, Israel. This is the I.S.U.P.K down in Florida. I'm Captain the 10,000 Shamoyala. We here to let you know. 53rd annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida. It's going down in South Florida, Cocoa Beach.
Friday, April 15th, 2022.
The lamb, the wine, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you understand? Good music, good weather, the palm trees, the whole nine.
This is going to be glorious. Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
April 15th and the 16th. Don't just book for the 15th. Book for the 15th and the 16th.
It's going down Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
Moses told Pharaoh we need 3 days to be able to go out into the wilderness and serve our power the way he commands. You're going to have to get that off with your boss, with your slave master. So make sure you in the building. Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 15th to 16th, 2022 is going down. We'll see y'all there. Shalom.
Power, 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000.
Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatam to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Alatan Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And we've been teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth of the Bible since 1969. Right? And the truth of the Bible is that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speak of. Right? They are the Israelites that the Bible speak of. They are the Lord's chosen people, and they must keep the laws of God to get this oppressor from off their neck, man. To get from under this oppressor, and they can rule the kingdom of heaven. Right? They can rule the kingdom of heaven. And one of those laws is about the Sabbath day, man. It's about keeping the Sabbath day holy. I know the world says that the Sabbath day, or the day to go congregate and the Lord's day is on Sunday, but that's all a lie, man. That is a lie. That is the worship of the sun god. Right? We're gonna dab into that history today about the worship of the sun god, man. Because that's why they go to church on Sunday and not the Lord's Sabbath, right? Because the Lord's Sabbath day is the seventh day of the week, man, which is Saturday, man. The Lord's Sabbath is on the Saturday, man, the seventh day of the week. I mean, the seventh day. Yeah, the seventh day of the week, man. Right? Sunday is the first day of the week. I know we all have calendars, man. We can all look at our calendar. If you go to your calendar, the day starts on the week starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday, right? And that's ancient, man. That's as ancient as the Passover, man. That is ancient, man. When the Lord created the earth, man. Right? When the Lord created the earth and everything in it, man, on that seventh day, he rested. And he made that day holy. Holy coming from the word quadash, meaning separate, set apart. Right? So he made that day separate from every other day on the planet, man. Every other day you can work, every other day you can do things, but on the Lord's day is on the seventh day of the week, man. The seventh day of the week. Right? Let's go ahead and get into it, man. This is what Catholics and Christians and all the other different Christianity religions, right? Because there's so many of them, right? Although the Christian religions, they use this scripture to say that about they use this scripture to say that the Lord's day is on Sunday, right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 6, right? The book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 6. Everybody, they should get their notepads out and their notepads out and write these scriptures down, man. Follow along with me, right? The book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 6. It says, "And we sailed away from Philippi after the days of the unleavened bread, right? And came unto them to the trails in 5 days, where we abode 7 days, right? And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart unto the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight." Right? That's what they say. That's what they say about the where they use the first day of the week to be able to say that that's the Lord's Sabbath. Right? To say that's the Lord's day, the first day of the first day of the week, which is not necessarily true, because if they were having a Sabbath day and breaking bread on that day and all that, right? The key in the verse above in Acts 20 and 6, right? The key word there is unleavened bread, right? The key there is unleavened bread. Let's see if we can find this. I know it's here. It's in my notes. The key there is the unleavened bread. Now let's see what they say about the worship of the unleavened bread, right? Okay, so they want to do me like that. Right, this is the Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, right? And if anybody knows about Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, Leviticus, the 23rd chapter is where it breaks down all the high holy days of the Lord, right? And the high holy days of the Lord, you know what's not there? The first day of the first day of the week. Christmas is not there. Easter is not there. Thanksgiving is not there for the holy days for the high holy days, right? But let's see what is there. Right? This is Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord." Right? Concerning the feast of the Lord, right? That's what he said. Now speak unto the children of Israel. That's what the Lord is saying to Moses. He said, and tell them about the feast, the feast of the Lord, right? The feast days, right? Because we have many different feast days. We have Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, that lasts for 7 days, right? Feast of Unleavened Bread. We have the Feast of First Fruits, right? We have all these different high holy days that's meant for Israel, right? That's meant for Israelites, and it's for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that we should be keeping. It's a commandment of the Lord for us to be keeping these law, statutes, and commandments, or keeping these high holy days. It's not a law to keep Christmas. That is something that we should not keep, because that's of the other nations. That's not of the Lord, right? So it says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feast. Right? He said these are holy convocations. These are days that we're supposed to celebrate and keep until the end of time, right? We're going to keep these in the kingdom, right? It says 6 days shall thy work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, right? So it says the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, right? So the Lord is making the Sabbath day a holy convocation. The Lord is making the Sabbath day it's a high holy day. It's a commandment. It's something that we should keep. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that we should keep, right? Let's keep going. It says, and holy convocation, ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings, right? In all your houses, everywhere you go, it is the Sabbath day of rest, man, because the Lord made that day for you to rest, man. You work like a dog the rest of the week for your slave masters, man, for your different jobs, no matter what they might be, right? And then the Lord gave you a day for you to just rest, man. Do whatever you need to do whatever you want to do on that day, if it's lawful, of course. For it to be lawful, of course. That's what the Lord ordained that day for you, man. He set that day aside for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. And we got people here. We got fake Israelite groups here talk about you can't kindle a fire, can't cook, can't do these things on that day. So they just sit in their house all day with the lights off. Some of them say you can't even turn the lights on. So they just sit in their house all day with the lights off and just look at the wall. Be starving, hungry, and all that. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. And we're going to get into that later also. Right? Verse 4, it says, these feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Right? So every high holy day is a Sabbath day, basically. Every high holy day is a Sabbath day. Every high holy day, no matter which day they fall on, it is a high holy day. It is a holy convocation. It should be treated like a Sabbath. Right? Now let's go back to Acts. Right? It says, and we sailed away from Philippi after the days of the unleavened bread. Right? Is the unleavened bread a high holy day? Yes, it is. So it should be treated like a Sabbath. That's why they were there congregating and breaking bread, because they were keeping the commandments of the Lord. Right? Something that the Christian church does not do. Something that the Christian church does not do. Right? And it says, and came unto them to trials in 5 days, where we abode 7 days. And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow. So why was they breaking bread? Why was they there breaking bread and congregating and being in each other's presence on that day? Because it was one of the unleavened bread days, right? One of the days of the feast of unleavened bread. So they were coming on that day to have a Sabbath day. They were coming together to have a Sabbath day. That's why they congregated on that first day of the week. It wasn't because it was the Lord. It was the actual Sabbath day, like the seventh day of the week. It was the first day of the week, but they were commemorating the feast of unleavened bread. All right. And it says, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. Right. So everybody understand that? Hey, shalom, sis. So y'all understand that the reason why they came together on that first day of the week was because they were in the middle. They were doing the feast of unleavened bread, and they kept it like a Sabbath, because that's what the Lord commanded. The Lord commanded all of his feast days to be like a Sabbath day. So that's why they kind of gathered together and broke bread. It's not because that was the day that they was worshiping on. But the Christian church will have you believe that, because the Christian church don't want to do anything that the Lord said do. They want to break all of God's laws, not some of them. They want to break all of them. They don't want to keep anything except the law of tithing. Why they want to keep the law of tithing? Because all they want is money. All they want is money. They want mammon, man. That's all they want. Right? Now let's see. Now let's go into history, right? And let's see where this Sunday worship came from, right? Because we all know that that the ancient Egyptians, right? They came up with religion basically, and then everybody else after them, they follow what the ancient Egyptians do, right? With the worship of like how can I say the virgin birth? The virgin birth is Egyptian. That came out from that came from Egypt, and all the cultures after that they just took that story and put it with their people, with their understanding, with their nationality, right? And then everybody just follows that same story, and they just keep what would you call it? Reiterating it and putting it with their different cultures, changing up the names, they keep the same dates, but they change up the names, the same understandings, right? That's why you can find a virgin birth. You can find a virgin birth story in every religion on the planet, but you can't find it in the Bible because it's not in there. It's not in the Bible. That's why it's the Holy Bible. It's the separate records, right? It's separate from everything else on this planet. Everything else on this planet, they follow one another. They do what they do. But Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you can't. You can't do that, because when you do that, you become when you break God's laws, you become subservient to a whole nother nation. You worship other gods. And that's a curse from the Most High, man. That's a curse from the Most High. That's why we can't do things like that. Like we can't eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. Because when we eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, we become first in diabetes, heart attacks, high blood pressure. You know, talking about heart disease. When we do things like that, we get punished differently than everybody else on the planet. We get punished differently from everybody else on the planet because we got the laws, statutes, and commandments not to do those things. Just like we got the laws, statutes, and commandments not to profane the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. So if everybody else want to worship on Sunday, let them worship on Sunday. But Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you keep the Sabbath day. You keep the Sabbath day holy. That's what you do. And you don't let these other nations trick you out your position. Man, trick you out your position of ruling the earth, man. That's what our kingdom is. Our kingdom is ruling the earth under I.S.U.P.K, man. Don't let these other nations trick you out your position like worshiping on Sunday is so great. Worshiping on Sunday is a pagan ritual, man. We finna get into that right now. Got an article. It's like it. Right? It says, what is the first day of the week? Right? It says Monday is the first day of the work week, according to the international standard for the representation of dates and times. So they said Monday is the beginning of the work week. Right? That's what that is. Monday is the beginning of the work week. But let's see what the beginning of the actual week is, right? However, in the United States and Canada, Sunday is considered to be the start of the week. It says Sunday is considered to be the start of the week, right? It says this is because of religious reasons. It tells you right there it's because of religious reasons. All these other different religions on the planet, we don't have a religion. We have laws, statutes, and commandments to keep. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The Lord gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. He didn't give us a religion. He told us to follow him. That's what he told us. To keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what the Most High told us. Keep them, and we shall live, and leave them, and we shall die. That's what the Lord taught us. That's what the Lord showed us, man. That's what the Lord told us, man. All right. It says this is because religious reasons. For those of Christians and Jewish faith, right, Sunday is the most important day of the week, right? It says Jewish. We're not Jewish. We are the Jews. We don't wish we were anything. You know, that ISH prefix. If I told you you childish, does that mean you're a child? No, that means you're acting like a child, right? So if I say you Jewish, right, that means you're acting like a Jew. That doesn't mean you're a Jew. Follow me? Everybody understand that? So that's the Jewish faith. That's Judaism. That's where they circumcise the boys on the 8th day. They suck their penis off. And this is not fabrication. That's called a moil. This is not fabrication. We're not just saying, this is actual facts that they do in that Jewish community, because it's just weird. It's homosexual. Where we at? Is the most important day of the week. It says not only is it the day when God created the earth, it also comes after the day of rest. So they know that the Most High made the Sabbath day on the 7th day and made it the day of rest. They know that, right? They know that, because they said that the Sunday comes after the day of rest. So they know that the first day of the week is what they're worshiping, and not the Lord's Sabbath day. They know this. This is that gets us ready for the week. In Catholicism, it also states in the Bible that the church is meant to assemble on the first day of the week, which would be Sunday Mass. Right? That's Catholicism. And I just read the scripture about why they say that they're supposed to do that why they meet on the first day. Because Paul on the first day of the week, he met with his brothers and broke bread, but they were keeping the unleavened bread, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They were keeping a Sabbath day on the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because that's how you keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, by making it a Sabbath. Right? So they had a Sabbath the day before, and they had a Sabbath on that day. Right, according to the law. We just went to the law, and I just went to the law. We just read about that in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verses 1-4. All right, it says that church is meant to assemble on the first day of the week, which would be Sunday Mass. No, it says in the United States, Monday is considered as the first day of the work week for logistic purposes, such as companies paying their employees. Right, because on Monday through Friday is the work week, and you get paid on Friday. All right. It says origins of Sunday as the first day of the week. It says Sunday has always been regarded as the first day of the week for religious reasons, beginning in ancient times. In Egypt, when Sunday was set aside as the most important day of the week, and thus the one that was. And it says, and thus the one that was at the start, the day of the sun, right? So that's so the first day of the week was considered the day of the sun. That's what that was considered, the day of the sun, the first day of the week back in Egypt, right? It says, and thus the one that was at the start, the day of the sun. So that was the day of the sun, which was Sunday. Right, it says was observed in the honor of the sun god Ra. Right, so when you go to church on Sundays, you're actually worshiping the sun god, and every culture has a sun god, except the Bible, except the Israelite culture, because we were the first people that kept that believed in one power, one God. The first people, the only people that believe in one God. So we wasn't worshiping all these different gods. Like if you go to the Greek god, it'd be Apollo, right, for the worship of the sun. If you go to the Roman god, it'd be Jupiter for as the worship of the sun god. In Egypt, it was Ra, right? And it says the chief of austral bodies making Sunday the first of all days. Right? It says in the Bible, God rested on the seventh day, or the Sabbath, which is Saturday. It says after creating the earth. We're gonna get into that later about Constantine, because at one point in time they was keeping the Sabbath day as the Lord's day, and then they switched it over because they seen Paul was doing a Sabbath on the first day of the week, but he was keeping the feast of unleavened bread, and then they started keeping the Sabbath day on a Sunday, but then it got put etched in the law and sketched in the law by Constantine. We're going to read about that too. But let's get when the Most High make the Sabbath day holy, right? This is Genesis chapter 2 verse 23. Genesis chapter 2 verses 2. Right? It says, and on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Verse 3, and God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Right, so on 7 days the Lord created the earth, and then in 6 days the Lord created the earth, and on the seventh day he was like, yeah, today's the day I'm gonna just chill, we're gonna rest. You know what I mean? And then he made everybody else. He was like, yeah, this is the Sabbath day. He said, you rest on this day. The seventh day of the week, you rest on that day. Right? Now let's go into the law and get it. Let's get Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. Right? Let's get Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. Y'all go ahead. Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. I'll give y'all a second. All right. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Right? Remember that word holy means separate, set apart, separate. So it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it separate. You know what I'm talking about? Keep it separate from all the other days. Right? 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. Right? It says 6 days you shall labor and do all thy work. Right? You should work all Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You should do all your work. But on that seventh day, on the Sabbath, on the Lord's Sabbath, you rest. You rest. Do whatever you need to do on those days and all that, but you rest on the Lord's Sabbath. No servile work. And that goes for you and your servants. Right? It says, verse 10, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord. Right? The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Right? Nobody. He doesn't even want you working your cattle on that day. The cattle gets a day of rest. That's how important the Sabbath day is to the Most High. The Most High don't want you, your daughter, your son, nobody doing no servile work that day. And even your cattle, your maidservant. It says even the stranger. It says, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. You don't even want them doing no work. That's how holy the Lord's Sabbath day is, man. That's how much the Lord loves the Sabbath day, man. And in verse 11 it says, for in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is. Right? He said in 6 days the Lord did all his work. He made the heavens, he made the earth, he made the sea, he made all the creatures, the people, everything. He made everything that needed to be made in those 6 days. The Lord did that. Right? And it says, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. He made it holy. He blessed that day and made it holy. We just read about that in Genesis 2 and 3. Genesis 2, chapter 2, verse 2 and 3, when the Lord rested on the seventh day. We just read about that. All right. Let's get more in the law. This is Exodus chapter 16, verse 28. The book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 28. Salakia. The book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 28. Right? It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? Verse 29. See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the sixth day the bread of 2 days. Right? Because they had something in there called, we're going to get into that. And abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day. Right? So even in the wilderness, they were keeping the Sabbath day. Now let's get to Matthew chapter 12, verse 1. Because they always the Pharisees and Sadducees want to come at Christ about the men picking corn and eating corn on the Sabbath day, and Christ had to cut them. He had to cut them like he always did. Right? It says at the time Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn. Right, Yahushua on the Sabbath day. He went through the corn, right, and his disciples were hungry. They were hungry. Is it wrong if on the Sabbath day if you're hungry to eat? No, it's only these fake Israelite groups that tell you, oh, ain't no eating on the Sabbath, ain't no cooking on the Sabbath. Like, why not? The Lord gave you that day for you to enjoy yourself. Right, as long as it's lawful, right? You can do whatever you need to do. You go to the gym, you can make your Passover garment look glorious. Whatever you need to do on the Sabbath, right? It says, and his disciples were hungry, and began to pluck the ears of corn, and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. Right? So what can you tell me what was even going on back then with the Pharisees and Sadducees, right? With the Pharisees and Sadducees, what was going on back then? That they didn't. I'm gonna just give you the answer, okay? That back then they didn't even understand about the law. They didn't even understand about the spirit of the law, man. It's just like your black leaders today. Your black leaders today, they want to tie you, they want to make covenants with the other nations and tie you to them. Right? Like Commanding General Hunter brought out on Monday about Steve Harvey and how Steve Harvey want to adopt the little African girl as her niece, as his niece. Right? Well, you can get whatever you want. That's what he told her. He said, just call me. I'm gonna give you my number. You know how many black children out here or black girls out here that need an uncle? You know how many blacks, Hispanics, Native American sisters out here that need an uncle? But no. And he told, and then General Muhammad even brought it out how he told him why he did it, because she was African. So if she was black, he wouldn't adopt her. He wouldn't be like, oh, you my niece. It's only because she was African. That's how they want to tie you to the other nations, right? They want to tie you to the other nations. They don't want you to be your own, and they don't want to help their own, right? They're just like these fake Israelite groups that want to go all the way into Africa and look for Israelites and things like that, when there's Israelites right here in Chicago, right here in San Antonio, right here in Houston, Dallas, right? New York, Philly, right? But they always want to look down on the I.S.U.P.K for caring about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans here. All right. Meanwhile, they don't care about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans here. So that's the same thing they was doing to Christ. They were trying to find any reason to condemn Christ or to make him not be the Christ, not be the king, right? They were trying to find any reason. Right? Verse 3. Well, we're going to read verse 1 and 2 again. It says, at that time, Yahushua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungry and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. That's what he told them. It's not lawful for y'all to eat if you're hungry on the Sabbath day. First, it went to no cooking. Now you can't even pick the corn and eat the corn. What now they're talking about you can't turn on the lights. Can't use the microwave. You can't do nothing on the Lord's Sabbath day, man. Nothing on the Lord's Sabbath day. That's how they feel. But this how Christ cut them. Right? Verse 3. It says, but he said unto them, have ye not read what David did when he was hungry, and they that were with him, right? How, verse 4, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread, right, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest, right? Because we had a custom when we had the temple that they had showbread, and the showbread stayed warm, and they kept putting new showbread in, taking the old showbread out, and the priest would eat the showbread, and it was only for the priest, right? Right? Now let's get the story in 1 Samuel chapter 21. Right? Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 21. Let's get the story about the showbread and King David. Right? Because King David sure did eat the showbread. But let's get the story about the showbread, because this is when King David was on the run from King Saul, right? And him and his men was hungry, right? The book of 1 Samuel chapter 21 verse 1. It says, then came David to Nob, to where my glasses at? Put these. All right, that's better. That's better. It says, then came David to Nob, to Amalek, the priest, and Amalek. Is it Amalek? That looks what it is. Amalek was afraid of the meeting of David, and he said unto him, why art thou alone, and no man with thee? Verse 2. And David said unto Amalek the priests, Amalek the priest, the king has commanded me a business, and has said unto me, let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee. Right? So King David told him, he said, the king sent me with some business to do here. He said, don't tell nobody about this business. Right? And he has said unto me, let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee, and what I command thee, and I have appointed my servants to such and such a place. So he said, I commanded them to stay back. You know what I mean? I came here alone to talk to you. You feel me? So King David's trying to I'm not gonna say hustle, but King David's trying to get some bread. He's trying to get something to eat. He's hungry. Him and his men are hungry. Right? And his men follow him, so he gotta feed them. He gotta find a way to feed them. Right? Verse 3. Now therefore, what is under thine hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in my hand, or what there is present. Right? So he called Amalek, whatever his name is, Amalek, taking the showbread out of the out of underneath the, I don't know what they had, warmers or something like that, but he was taking the showbread down, right? Because the showbread had to stay hot, so they was going to put more showbread up, so he was taking showbread down for the priest to eat, right? And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread, right? He said, there's no common bread under my hand. We ain't got no common bread, but there's hallowed bread here. We ain't got no common bread for you, you know what I mean? For common people. But we do have holy bread, separate bread, right? For the priest. It says, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women, right? Why do you say from women? Because if the men were having sex with women, they'll be unclean and they wouldn't be able to eat the showbread, right? He said, and David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth woman have been kept from us about these 3 days, right? So King David said, yeah, we ain't had no dealings with no women for about 3 days. You feel me? We as clean can get. We ain't had no dealing with no women, no nothing for 3 days. We've been in the caves hiding out. And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth woman have been kept from us about these 3 days since I came out, and the vessels of young men are holy, right? The vessels of young men, they, you know, I'm talking about, they holy, they separate. They ain't had dealings with no women. He says, and the bread is in a manner common. He said, yea. Well, now what does that mean? The bread is in a manner common. What does that mean? Take a little sip of my. All right. So he said the bread is in a manner common. So he's talking about. So he's talking about the bread that they were taking down were going to be shared amongst the priest, right? He said. So he said we clean, right? He said that bread is going to be eaten anyway. And then they're gonna put some more bread up there, and that bread gonna be eaten, and that bread gonna be eaten. So y'all might as well give us the loaves of bread so we can eat. Have some brotherhood. Feed your brothers. So like it. Right? He said, and the bread is in a manner common. He said, yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. Right? It was cooked this day, right? Like it was cooked this day here, and it was set up there. And now y'all taking it down to give to everybody else, right? Might as well give me some loaves. He said, so the priest gave him hollowed bread, for there was no bread there. There was no bread there, but the showbread. There was no bread there, but the showbread. He says that was taken from before the Lord to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. Right, because every day they would. So when they took the bread down, they was putting more bread up there. You know what I mean? So he was like, y'all got more bread. You feel me? That y'all gonna be eating. Might as well give me some of those loaves. Right? Now, was that wrong? Was that wrong for the priest to feed his brothers the showbread that was for the priest? Or was that wrong for the priest to feed his brothers that bread? It was not wrong. It was definitely in the spirit of brotherhood, right? That's what you do on the Sabbath day anyway. You break bread, and you know what I'm talking about, with your brothers. We break bread every day, but that's what you do. You break bread with your brothers, right? Now let's go back to see how Christ cut them, right? Matthew chapter 12 verse 3. It says, but he said unto them, have ye not read what David did when he was in hungry, right? When he was hungry, did you hear about what David did when he was hungry? Because they were trying to make them shameful about picking the corn and eating the corn on the Sabbath day. They were trying to make them feel bad about it. They were trying to use the Bible, or they were trying to use the God's laws to hurt people and to make them feel bad. And he was hungry. He says, and they that were with him, right? Because David had men with him. Verse 4, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests, because the showbread was only for the priests. But hey, if the bread was getting took down, you know what I'm talking about, and they was going to eat it anyway, might as well share with your brothers. Verse 5, right? It says, or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? Right? Because if the priest wanted to give the brothers the bread, they can give them the brothers the bread. It's no sweat. It's no sweat to give them bread that's going to be eaten anyway. Right? And then you're going to put new bread up there. So you just stocking up on bread. And you ain't going to share the bread. That's how the Pharisees and Sadducees used to do, man. They used to stock up on all the so people used to bring them goats and stuff to sacrifice, right, to the Lord, and they wouldn't sacrifice it to the Lord, man. They'll stock it up. Oh yeah, we're gonna get that. That's me, that's mine, that's mine. They wouldn't share with the people that was hungry. Just like those black leaders today, man. Just like your black leaders today, man. They get all this money and all this. How much? Like how much does a G5 jet cost? $60-something million. You know how many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is out here that ain't got no food, they ain't got no place to stay, and you living in a mansion with 20, 30, 40 rooms. And you know how many brothers and sisters out here don't have a place to stay, man? Why should they look to the other nations to take care of them when preachers got preachers buying their wives $500,000 cars? Why should we look for another nation to take care of us when these black preachers, right, in these Christian churches got brand new cars, big houses, sending their kids to college and all that? Shouldn't they be using that tithe money to take care of the people? It's because they don't care about the Lord. They don't care about the Lord's people, and they don't care about the Lord. And they damn sure they don't give a damn about Christ, man. Because Christ was homeless. These are the people that wouldn't even give Christ a home. Right? Because Christ was homeless. Christ did the most unselfish thing ever and gave his life for his people, man. And these black churches and preachers in the church won't even give up. They won't even give up they G5 jet, man. They got a G5 jet, bro. To fly all the way over there to Africa. When they're brothers and sisters in Chicago, right, brothers and sisters in Chicago right now. That's like Oprah. Oprah got all that money, but they go to Africa and go open schools and go build schools. When Chicago got some of the worst schools in the world, man. They skip over Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Detroit, New York, New Jersey, Houston, San Antonio, the Rio Grande Valley, California. You know what I'm talking about? LA, San Diego, Oakland. They skip over all these places. St. Louis, right? They skip over all these places where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got the worst got the worst education, right? Got the worst education, got the worst food. Flint, Michigan ain't even got clean water, and they skip over all that and go to a whole nother country, man. I mean, a whole nother continent, right? And they go take care of them. They go take care of them. Salakia. Verse 6. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. Right. Verse 7. But if ye known that this meaneth if ye had known what this meaneth, right? I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltless. Right? Now we're gonna go back to verse 6. It says, but I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. Right? What does that mean? Is one greater than the temple? Right? And then he's gonna cut him. He said, but if ye had known what this meaneth, right? If you knew what this meant, right? He said you wouldn't. He said you wouldn't be tripping on us. You know what I'm talking about? You wouldn't try to condemn the guiltless because we just out here hungry, and then we picked a little bit of corn, ate some corn, right? He says, but I say unto you that is in this place is one greater than the temple, right? Because Israelites, it says Israelites are greater than the temple, right? Because Sabbath was made for the Israelites. Sabbath was made for us to get our rest, to get what we needed to do, everything that we needed to take care of, right? That was lawful, of course. Because I know people are gonna be like, oh yeah, we could do whatever we want to do on the Sabbath day. Yeah, we're gonna smoke weed and this, that. No, that's not what the Sabbath was made for. The Sabbath was made for you to rest from your slave work and get everything that you needed to get done that you can't get done during the week because you slave so hard, because you work so much, you work so hard, right? And that was the day that everybody come together. Y'all, hey, what's up, brother? What's good? Yeah, you all right? And you know what I mean? Where you see all everybody that you don't see on a daily basis, and y'all come together and y'all congregate, y'all mix up, y'all go to the temple, and you know what I mean? Do y'all thing. Break bread, have some drinks, and all that. Right, verse 7, it says, but if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Ye would not have condemned the guiltless. Because that's what they did. They condemned those brothers for being hungry and eating on the Sabbath day. Just like they would have condemned King David for going in there and getting that bread that they was going to toss out anyway. They was going to toss out that bread and put some new bread up there, and they was going to be like, you're wrong for eating the priest's bread. That's what they're going to do. Just like these big Israelite groups that try to get on us for doing what we do on the Sabbath day. You're not supposed to do that on the Sabbath day. You're supposed to sit in the house and look at the wall in the dark and not eat and be hungry all day. Right, now let's go to verse 8. Right, it says, for Son of Man is Lord even on the Sabbath day. Right, the Son of Man is Lord even on the Sabbath day, man. On the Sabbath day, you can do whatever you need to do on the Sabbath day, man. Don't let these people trick you out your position and have you staring at the wall, looking dumb. If you want to go work out on the Sabbath day, go work out on the Sabbath day, man. You want to go meet with your brothers, go meet with your brothers on the Sabbath day, man. Do whatever you need to do on the Sabbath day, as long as it is lawful. I'm gonna keep saying that. Don't go get no shrimp, crab, and lobster and pork chops and try to fry those up. And no. That is not what that's you. No. I can do whatever I want to do on the Sabbath day. No. As long as it is lawful. I'm gonna keep saying that. Let's get the same occurrence, right? Mark chapter 2, verse 23. The same occurrence, but from a different understanding. All right, let's get the same occurrence, but from a different understanding. Because sometimes you need two different understandings or two different records of the same occurrence to get the full understanding. Now let's get Mark's occurrence. Right? The book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 23. The book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 23. Right? It says, and it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day. And his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of the corn. And the Pharisees said unto him, Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful? Right? So why did there it is again? Why they do what on the Sabbath day what is not lawful? So it's unlawful to go eat corn on the Sabbath day? Just like they're gonna tell you, oh, brother, you can't be buying that on the Sabbath day. You can't be doing that on the Sabbath day. But what if you really needed it? You know what I mean? What if I was driving, right? And then I was finna run out of gas because I forgot to get gas yesterday. I'm going, so I'm not gonna make the kingdom now because I ran out of gas. Huh? So I'm not gonna make the kingdom now because I ran out of gas and I had to go, and my family was gonna be stranded with me, and was gonna be stranded, so I had to stop and get some gas. Now I'm not gonna make the kingdom. That's what I'm talking about. It's ill advised, and it's just wrong to tell people that. Like, what if you was driving and you had a flat tire and you got your wife, your kids in the car? Oh, I can't do no work. You need to get out and change the tire. Right? What if your brother's car broke down? You know what I mean? And you got or a sister or a sister's got a flat tire on the side of the road, and you need to get there and go help her out. Right? What you gonna tell her? Oh no, sis, I can't help you out today. It's the Sabbath. It's the Lord's Sabbath. Oh no, I can't do no servile work. No, you're gonna go help. It's okay to do good on the Sabbath. It's okay to do good on the Sabbath. Like, why wouldn't you go help the sister out on the Sabbath day? If her tire blew out and she needed help to go change the tire, she needed help to change her tire. Why wouldn't you go help change the sister's tire? Oh no, sis, it's the Sabbath day. I got to sit in the house all day with no lights on and just look at the wall, sis. I can't do it. It's rude and it's unbrotherly. Right, verse 24, verse 25. It says, and he said unto them, Have you never read what David did when he had need and was hungry? He and they that was with him. Verse 26. It says how he went into the house of God, in the days of Abiathar, the high priest, and did eat the showbread, which is not lawful to eat but for the priest, and gave also to them which were therein. Right? Verse 27. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Right? So the Sabbath was made for the Israelites, man. It was made for man. It was made for the Israelites, man. The Sabbath day was made for the Israelites. You know what I mean? The Israelites wasn't made for the Sabbath. We're not slaves to the Sabbath day, but the Sabbath day was made for us to do what we needed to do. Right? It says, therefore, a son of man is Lord also of the Sabbath day. Right? It says, and he said unto them, Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Boy, that's a cut of all cuts. That's a cut of all cuts. Hey, the Sabbath day was made for me, brother. You know what I'm saying? The Sabbath day was made for me to do what I needed to do, brother. You feel me? So why are you trying to condemn me for keeping the Sabbath, the Lord's Sabbath? Why are you trying to condemn me for that? Why are you trying to make me feel bad on the Lord's Sabbath? You know what I mean? For being hungry and eating corn on the Lord's Sabbath. You're trying to make me not get the kingdom because we hungry. You know what I mean? Now I ask you a question. If you was, let's say you went to the store or something on the Lord's Sabbath and the brother was out there hungry, right? And he was like, brother, can you please just buy me something to eat? Buy me something to eat. Right? Would you be wrong in buying the brother something to eat? Would you be wrong in buying a sister something to eat that was out there that was starving, that was homeless? Would you be wrong for that? No, you wouldn't be wrong for that. You'll be righteous for that. The Lord will be looking down upon you like, that's what I'm talking about. That's brotherhood. That's sisterhood, right? So you would not be wrong in giving the brother or sister something to eat on the Lord's Sabbath. But you know who would? You know who's not going to do that? Is these fake Israelite groups. They're not going to give that brother. They're not going to buy that brother. Brother, it's the Lord's Sabbath. I can't do it. I'm going to not get the kingdom. You know what I mean? Because they want to help buy the brother. They want to help feed people. Help feed brothers and sisters. Nope, I'm not going to do it because it's the Lord's Sabbath. That's what they're going to say. I'm not going to do it, brother. It's the Lord's Sabbath. I can't profane. I can't do the Lord's Sabbath like that. Because they really hate their people, man. That's the reason why they're going to do it. They really hate their people. They really hate their people. And so now we're gonna get the story about the brothers and sisters that let their wives, children die on the Lord's Sabbath during the Greek captivity. They let them die on the Sabbath day because they was on that fake Israelite group. No, we're not gonna do it on the Lord's Sabbath. Nope, we're not gonna do that on the Lord's Sabbath. So then they let their brothers and sisters die on the Lord's Sabbath, man. On the Sabbath day, they didn't want to go to war, so they let their wives, their kids, and children, they let them die on the Lord's Sabbath, man. That's a horrible thing, man. But then there's some other brothers that's just not gonna do it. That's just not gonna let they kids die, they wives die. They're just not gonna do it, man. They're not gonna let that brother starve on the side of the road, man. They're not gonna let that sister. They're not gonna have that sister try to fix her tire by herself, man. They're gonna go get that sister, and they're gonna go fix that sister's tire, man. They're not gonna do it, man. They're just not gonna do it. They're not gonna sit on the side of the road and wait till sundown, or sit on the side of the road because they can't. They're not gonna pay for gas. They let their family just sit in the car. No, they're gonna go pay for that gas, man. They're gonna go help that sister. They're gonna go pay for that brother to get some food. They're going to do the Lord's work, man. Because that's the work of the Lord, is taking care of the people, man. And that's what the Pharisees and Sadducees did not understand, man. The Pharisees and Sadducees back then did not understand that, and they want to just be evil to people, man. Especially and especially they people, man. They just want to be evil to their people, man. And that's the messed up thing about it. It's their people. It's not like it's another nation or something. It's their people that they don't want to help, that they don't want to feed. You know what I mean? So the work of the Lord must be done. All right, now let's get this. If you can follow me to, we're going to go to 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 31. 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 31. I'll give y'all a second to get there. Slack. We're going to 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 31. We're going to talk about these brothers that didn't want to fight on the Lord's Sabbath, didn't want to go to war on the Lord's Sabbath and let their families die, man. The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 31. It says, "Now when it was told the king's servant and the host that was at the Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness." Right? So, you know, the king is giving commandments. This is the time of after Alexander, with the time of the Greeks were ruling in Israel. And, you know, they told him that you can't keep the Lord's Sabbath day, and you can't keep the high holy days. You know, they say, if you was a Jew, we'll kill you. If you said that you professed yourself to be a Jew, they was gonna kill him, right? But there was some brothers that was like, nah. You know what I'm talking about? They broke the king. They broke what the king said. They broke the king's law and was like, yeah. And they dipped off into the wilderness. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, we dipping off into the wilderness. They want us, come get us. Verse 32, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. Right? So now the king's men found them, and they made war against them on the Sabbath day, man. Right, verse 33. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. So then they gave him a choice. It was like, hey man, y'all can come do what the king said, and whatever y'all done, we can let all that go, let bygones be bygones. Y'all can come do what the king said, and it'll all be good. Right, that's what they told him. It'll all be good. Verse 34, but they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandments to profane the Sabbath day. So they was in the right spirit. They was like, yeah, we ain't gonna profane the Sabbath day. No, we ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm talking about? So we gonna do what we gotta do, but we not coming forth, and we not gonna profane the Lord's Sabbath. Right? So they was in the right spirit. All right. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not. Right. So then the king's men started making battle with the people. Right. Started making battle with the people. Verse 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid. So they didn't do anything. They just let them come upon them and stab them up and slice them up and all that. They didn't want to stop them. They didn't want to do anything against them on the Lord's Sabbath day. Right? Verse 37. But said, let us die and let us die all in our innocency. Right? Heaven and earth will testify for us, but ye put us to death wrongfully. That what they said, man. That's those fake Israelite groups, man. Those fake Israelite groups will let brothers die on the Lord's Sabbath instead of fighting, because they don't want to profane the Sabbath day. No, man. You're not profaning the Sabbath day by defending yourself. You're not profaning the Sabbath day by protecting your family, by protecting your children, your wives. You know what I mean? That's like them big Israelite groups, man. No, we ain't gonna do nothing on the Lord's Sabbath. No, we can't go help that sister that's stranded. Nope, we can't feed that brother that's hungry. We can't do none of that on the Lord's Sabbath. It's the Lord's Sabbath. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all crazy? Are you crazy? Are you crazy, brother? Are you out of your mind that you're not going to show perfect brotherhood to get to feed the people, man? To help a sister in need, help a brother in need? You just gonna let them starve to death, huh? You just gonna let them starve to death. You're gonna let them be stranded on the side of the road, on the side of the highway. You just gonna let your family be stranded let your family be stranded on the side of the road because you don't want to pull over and get no gas. You just gonna. That's why they didn't understand the spirit of the Sabbath day, man. Just like they don't understand the spirit of the law, man. They don't understand the spirit of the law, man. They don't understand this. They don't understand that spirit. But you know what they will do? They will harm a brother. They will beat up a brother. They will fight a brother. But you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to help a brother. They're not going to help a sister. They will have sex with a sister and leave a sister, but they're not going to help a sister at all. A sister in need, nope. They're not going to do it. Why? Because they really hate their people. Where we at? They put us to this wrong. Verse 38. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people. Right, so they killed it. They let 1,000 people die, man, because they didn't want to fight. They didn't want to rise up on a Sabbath and make battle with the heathen nation, man, with the Greeks. They didn't want to make battle with the Greeks, so they rather die and have their children die and their wives die. They even killed the cattle. Right, verse 39. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them, right sore. Right, they mourned for their brothers. They cared about their brothers. Like, man, our brothers died on the Lord's Sabbath because they didn't want to fight. Jeez, you know what I mean? The women and the children. Mattathias and his homeboys and his people, they was like, sheesh. They were like, geez, you know what I'm talking about? Verse 40. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws and not for our lives and laws against the heathen, right? So when they say our laws, they're talking about God's laws. They're standing up for themselves and they standing up for God's laws on the Sabbath, right? Now they in the right spirit. They stand up for themselves and God's laws, man. That's something to be that's something to be honorable about, man. We fighting for God's laws. They're not just fighting for themselves. They fighting for the Most High, man. They fighting for their heritage. They fighting for their countrymen, man. They're fighting for what the Lord instilled and put in. They're fighting for their heritage, man. Their culture. That's something to be honorable about, man. Right? Verse 40. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. Right? He said they're gonna kill us, man. Ain't gonna be nobody left to keep the Lord's Sabbath. If we don't rise up on the Sabbath, ain't nobody gonna be left to keep the Sabbath. Right? Verse 41. At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. All right, so they in the right spirit. They talking about fighting on the Sabbath. It was like, we ain't gonna die like our brothers. You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna fight on the Sabbath. We're gonna protect our children. We're gonna protect our wives. We're gonna protect what's ours. Right? We're gonna protect our laws, our heritage, our culture. We're gonna keep that thing there. Right? Verse 42. It says, then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Right. So when they start having that spirit, they got more brothers to come through and they were mighty men of Israel. They were the Assyrians, and they were mighty men of Israel. They was like, yeah, we with you, brothers. You know what I'm talking about? They won't fight. You know what I'm talking about? That's how they was with the Greeks. They won't fight at Mattathias and his sons, Judas Maccabees and them. You know what I'm talking about? They wasn't no punks. Man. And they were standing up for God's laws. That's what they were standing up for. They were standing up for God's laws and God's heritage, man. They were standing up for the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, man. They were standing up for that thing there. They wasn't playing no games, man. They weren't playing no games. Right now, let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. Right, let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. Let's see if we keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, right? Let's see what will happen, and versus what's gonna happen if we don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? Right, verse 28. Chapter 28, verse 1. Right, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Right? So he's going to set thee on high above all nations on the earth. That's not equal to, that's not below, that's not second class, third class, fourth class citizens. That's not being in the ghettos, in the barrios, and the reservations. That's not having your land taken from you, your wife taken from you, your kids taken from you, right? That's not having to leave. That's not having to leave your land and sleep under a bridge, right? Like the so-called Haitians, man. That's not having to leave your land like the Mexicans and get stopped at the border, right? Because this is Mexico. Texas is Mexico, and they stopped them at the border and was like, and told them, no, you can't come. So you can't come over here, and then separated the mother and the father, and then from the children, and then gave the children foil blankets, and got them and now they're missing 1,500 kids at the border. That's what happened, man. That's what happened, man. I remember we was at camp, man, and Officer Malagwa brought out about how a brother died, how a brother and his daughter died, or the daughter died in the brother's hands trying to cross the Rio Grande River, man. Like that, like, you feel me? That's not on high. That's not above everybody on the earth, man. That's below everybody on the earth, man. And at the same time as the Haitians, they wouldn't let the Haitians into the country. They let these Afghanistan people, they flew them over here on private jets, gave them Airbnbs to stay in and food stamps. Why they let them in the country, but then they wouldn't let the Haitians in the country, man? Because the Haitians are the Lord's people, man, and they hate the Lord. But all that comes from us not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. All that comes from us not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. It'll be said, talking about set on high above all nations on the earth, man. That's what happens if we keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Now let's go to verse 15, man. Let's go to verse 15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments, right? This is the flip side. If you don't listen to the Lord thy God, if you don't keep the commandments, if you don't observe the Sabbath day, man, if you don't, if you eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, man, if you do these things, man, this is the flip side of it. Which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, is curses a good thing or a bad thing? Curses is a bad thing, man. Curses aren't good. Right? Verse 1 said, if the blessings, now this is saying curses are going to overtake you, man. That's what this is saying. This is saying curses are going to overtake you, man. Oh, Slocky. Right. Slocky. Now let's go to verse 64. Let's go to verse 64. Right, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, man. And that's what you see us today when we in the Christian church, when we're in the Muslim mosque, man. We're serving other gods, going into Buddhism, right? Going into going into East in what do you call it? Worshiping the god Kali, East Indian, man. Going into Rastafarianism, Pan-Africanism, talking about Egyptology. Right? We're talking going into Nubians and all these different cultures, man. Right? And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Right? Even wood and stone. That's that Christian cross, man, and that cobblestone over there in the that cobblestone in Mecca. Right? Because there's a lot of brothers that stuck in that stuck in Islam, man. There's a lot of brothers that stuck in Islam, man, and right, they left Christianity to go. They left under Christianity under one oppressor to go into the other under the other oppressor. That's what happened, man. And that's because we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's including the Sabbath day. We didn't keep the Sabbath day holy, man. Right, verse 65, and it says, "Among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall thou sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind." Man. Wherever you at in the world, if you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native American, or if you're the children of Israel, right, you're not going to get no ease, man. These nations are going to be on your back, man. There's going to be no ease, man. And Commanding General Yohana was just bringing out the other day how they had a basketball player in China. They were calling him nigger. They couldn't even pronounce the word right, but they sure did learn. Right? That's why they say you're not gonna find no ease, man. You're gonna find no ease, man. These nations just gonna be ruling over you, man. They don't give a damn. Hey, Shalom, what's going on, Art? These nations don't give a damn, and that's because we don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Now, when we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we're coming to our own land. That's how we bring Christ back, man. That's how we bring our King here, man. That's how we bring our King here and our kingdom here, by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Now let's go to Romans chapter 6, verse 23. Romans chapter 6, verse 23. Right? Because a lot of people don't know that when they break God's laws, they're sinning, man. When you break the law, statutes, and commandments, you are sinning, man, which also is keeping the Sabbath day, man. So when you don't keep the Sabbath day, you are sinning. Right? And this is what you get when you sin, right? It says Romans 6, verse 23. It says, "For the wages of sin is death." Right? We all got slaveries. We all go to work for wages, right? You go to work, you get paid. You get a wage of no matter how you work. You might get $7.25 an hour, or you might get $250 a day, or you might get, $17 an hour, right? That's your wages, right? So when you break God's laws, your wages, your payment is death, man. Your wages, your payment is death, man. That's your payment when you break the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, man. That's your payment is death, man. All right. Oh man, what happened? Right. It says, "But the gift of God is the eternal life through Yahushua Mashiach, our Lord." Right. And so the gift of God, right? So when you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, what's your wages? Right? What's your wages? Your wages is the eternal life through Yahushua Mashiach, our Lord. That's our eternal life, man. That's your kids ruling the kingdom of earth, the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? Because that's right. That's your kids ruling. We're gonna rule forever, man. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are gonna rule forever, but we have to keep the commandments of the Lord, man. That's our strength, like we was bringing out yesterday in class. That's our strength. That's how we stay strong, is by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. And not following these other nations. Because these other nations going to want you, to sin. Because when you sin, they don't get their, what would you call it? When you sin, their kingdom keeps going on and on and on. But when you stop sinning and you start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, their kingdom stops, man, and your kingdom is gonna rule. Right? So these other nations, you can't follow these other nations because these other nations are gonna want you to. They're gonna want you to sin. They're gonna want you to break God's laws. Right? And then they give incentive to the black leaders, right? They give them money and things like that, and fame and fortune, right? So they can keep you in sin and keep you voting, keep you thinking that you African, keep you thinking that it's okay to go to church on Sundays. They're gonna keep you thinking that. Why? Because it only benefits them. It doesn't benefit the whole nation, man. It only benefit a couple people, man. All right, and with that, we are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanan. And we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth of the Bible since 1969.
I.S.U.P.K.
Oh.
Annual Lord's Passover.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the I.S.U.P.K. down in Florida. I'm Captain of 10,000 Shamoy Yalo. We here to let you know the 53rd annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida. It's going down in South Florida, Cocoa Beach.
Friday, April 15th, 2022.
The lamb, the wine, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you understand? Good music, good weather, palm trees, the whole nine.
This is going to be glorious. Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
April 15th and the 16th. Don't just book for the 15th. Book for the 15th and the 16th.
It's going down Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
Moses told Pharaoh we need 3 days to be able to go out into the wilderness and serve our power the way he commands. You're going to have to get that off with your boss, with your slave master. So make sure you in the building. Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 15th to 16th, 2022. It's going down. We'll see y'all there. Shalom.
Black power, 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000.